Is this working? Is this working? Hello? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yay! All right. Hi, everyone. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for people to come in. So hello. Finally, I'm doing another art stream. Apologies for being away from Twitch for a while. Actually, I've been doing a lot of art streams on Facebook and also cross-upload to YouTube, but mostly I've been streaming on Facebook just because it's faster for me, and it's a lot easier for me to set that up and notify people. But I've got to do more streams on Twitch. I said I would do it, so I'm gonna I'm gonna keep it up. I can do this, yes. But today, as I posted on Twitter earlier, I'm just working on this page for my comic Demoniac, and this is either going to be page 12 or page 9, I'm not sure yet, because I might be adding some like extra pages before it. I don't know, I'm not sure yet, but so yeah. And I asked people on Twitter what everyone would like to see done, and someone said the first panel. And someone requested me to draw trees today, so I'm gonna draw trees. Yay. So I think I'm gonna stream for about an hour or so, then I have to be somewhere. But yeah, so for an hour or so, let's see, it's like 9 over here. But no, I could go a little longer. Well, anyways, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, maybe an hour, maybe 2. We'll just see how that goes. Ooh, and before, let's see. Ooh, hold on. Sorry. I'm gonna mute my phone so it doesn't like go off while I'm streaming. But also, by the way, happy Chinese New Year's to anyone who celebrates. That's what I was busy with all last week. That's why I only got like a really short stream in on Facebook, because I was like running everywhere. Well, I had a deadline. I was working on something for Marvel, for Marvel Superhero Adventures. So I had like a tight deadline for that. Then I had Chinese New Year, so I was like away the whole weekend visiting family. So that's fun. But to anyone else who also celebrates it, Happy New Year's. So I said I would do shout outs for patrons who pledged to $5 and above to me on Patreon. So I'm gonna do that at the beginning of videos now, because I realize at the end I tend to forget if I leave it to the end of videos. So before we start doing any art, let me shout out to Joshua Kazakevicius. I'm so sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I say it every video, but I'll try to pronounce it correctly. Message me and let me know if I'm not saying it right. To Jerry Orda, Joe Casava, and Non-Branded White Socks, which is this person's username on Patreon. So thank you so much to all of you who are supporting me on Patreon. You guys are awesome. You're helping me get this comic done. You're helping me achieve my dreams, and I really, really appreciate it. You guys are great. Thank you. See, is my phone muted? Okay. Coolio. We have some people in here? Yay, people are here. All right, cool. So same deal as usual. If you guys have any questions or any comments on anything, just type it in the Twitch chat, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat on my second stream while I work. So without further ado, let's just start drawing. And yeah, you guys can ask anything, such as questions about my comic or art techniques, just random stuff. Anything in general. Let's see, I got up super duper early today because my sleep schedule is completely messed up. And I finished these figures. I was gonna do the figures for the stream, but I got a little too excited and worked ahead, as I always do. I always do more work than I plan to do. That's not really a terrible problem to have, but okay. And I roughed out the houses in panel 3, that town scene, and sketched these mountains over here. But that's what I got up at like 3 a.m. to do, because I'm insane. I'm crazy. So yeah, this is page, the page right after the big town shot of the town. If you guys have been following my other posts on Demoniac, this is sort of, I'm debating adding a few pages in between. Oh, let me show you guys, because there might be some new people here. This was the page that came before. So this is, it was some of the characters were on a search, they came back to town, and now we're cutting to, here we go. That's it. This is the next morning. So this is gonna, panel 1 is gonna be a sunrise. It's gonna look much cooler when I have all the shading and the lighting in, and then the sun's gonna be rising, and it'll be, I think it'll be really pretty. I'm gonna have like, the foreground elements are gonna be darkened out, and the sunlight will be coming, obviously, you know, you can see where the sun is, so everything will be in rim light. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this. But I'm debating over adding these pages in between, because a friend said that it seemed a little unnatural to cut straight from this page to the next morning. But I also feel like these extra pages are a little, it's also not necessary. I'm trying to be very concise with, like, my storytelling style is very to the point. I try to not do any extraneous stuff. I want to just, you know, tell the story. Every panel, every page has something to do with characterization. It has something to do with moving the plot forward, or world building. So yeah, I'm not sure about adding these 3 pages, but yeah. So anyways, it'll probably just be from page 8, and this will probably be page 9. But we'll see. We'll see. See, if anyone isn't too familiar with this comic yet, because I realize maybe I have some new people in and I haven't really introduced the comic in a while. Basically, Demoniac, it starts out as kind of a monster hunting story, basically. It's about a bunch of characters. Okay, first of all, it's set in a high fantasy setting. It's a world that's completely designed by me. And it's on a very cold northern continent, and it's kind of inspired by, like, you know, pagan Northern European, Nordic or Slavic culture, but it's completely fantasy. So like I did a whole world map and everything. And in a mountain town that is Alstad, which is this town that I'm drawing right now and that you just saw in the big bird's eye shot, there are some mysterious murders by strange creatures that turn out to be demons, but nobody knows where they come from. So my 2 main leads so far, which is the 2 boys over here, they start out, they lead us into the story, but I have about 4 characters that I focus heavily on. So like the attention among them is pretty much evenly spread out. But I introduced Casimir and Ivar first. So these 2 guys are Casimir and Ivar. So they kind of set out to track down the demons, and in addition to Yeri and Ragnar, not Ragnar. It's like Ragnar with an A and without the R. That's one of the girl characters. They're introduced in like chapter 2. Yuri's introduced really soon, and then Ragnar is introduced in like chapter 4 or 5. But along with all of them, they sort of set out on a journey to investigate where the demon infestation came from, and that sort of leads to a larger sort of upheaval, like a big political upheaval and kind of a conspiracy. and a bigger villain who has summoned the demons, because the demons are sort of just the challenge for arc 1, and I have 3 arcs planned for this story. So in the beginning, the mystery is where the demon's coming from, right? Because they figured the demons are probably summoned by somebody, but they have no idea who did it and who's controlling them, and then they figure out who, and it turns out that the main villain is who they figure out the identity of at the end of arc 1 is tied to Casimir's past, which is again one of this dude over here with the kind of long hair who looks like kind of a jerk, which he kind of is, but it's okay, he's not a bad person, he's just kind of a jerk. But yeah, so the main villain, they discover who's responsible for like this demon infestation, and that this person is tied to Casimir's past, and then it gets into this like huge, political upheaval, and like it leads to warfare, and that's arc 2 and arc 3. So that's really far out, but arc 1 is just about hunting monsters and solving a mystery. Yeah, so that's what my comic is about, everyone. I pitch it as the general idea that you need to know going in is it's just Vikings fighting demons. That's basically what it is. And I am not sure when I would have it out yet. Oh, this tree looks really weird. Oh, that's fine. I'm drawing like really weird shaped trees that are like fantasy trees. So don't mind if they don't look like real evergreen trees. This is not what real trees look like. I'm not sure yet exactly how I'm going to put the comic out. Right now I am considering pitching to probably, of course, Image is my first choice, right? Because, most creator-owned comics, people want to go for Image Comics. And I think, with their publishing model, they give creators the most freedom, and like, if you publish with Image, you retain all the rights and stuff, and you get a lot of flexibility on your contract, and I like that. And, I've heard stories about, people working with them and they're good experiences. It's just like you making the book, popular and sort of paying that upfront printing cost that's on you. So it's a little more pressure to succeed, which I don't mind. It's a bit of a challenge, but I don't mind. I'm down for a challenge. So my first choice would be Image, of course. But I'm not sure if I would really, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would necessarily get into Image. I'll still try. I'm not gonna let my doubts stop me from pitching to Image. But it's just, I'm kind of a new creator. Like, I've done some work for Marvel, and, I've done work for a bunch of other companies, mostly for comics. I've been working for Marvel, a few, like, small side jobs, covers and stuff for Image, and I worked in animation. But as far as comics go, I haven't written anything, which is the thing I'm most worried about. So I'm technically still a pretty new creator, writing wise, and so I'm not sure if sort of Image would take on my project, which is a very big project and is very long, as you probably have surmised from my summary. And it's going to be years and years and years. So it's not like, I know everyone says, for your first creator-owned project, don't make it too big. Well, I didn't make it so big on purpose. It's just a story I want to tell. And it's going to happen. It's not like if this book doesn't get picked up, then it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. So even if I have to self-publish it, even if I have to like just put it out and sell PDFs on the internet, that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm not going to just give up on like publishing my comic and telling the story that I want to tell just because publishers reject me. No, this book is gonna get out there. So that, I guess that's a nice segue into, if Image doesn't work out, I guess maybe I would try self-publishing. I'm considering crowdfunding, but I don't know yet. I guess we'll see. And I'll put out some, so if you guys follow me on Patreon, you know that I put out a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I'm planning on compiling all the pages that I have done so far into, or just, showing everyone that is supporting me on Patreon the pages that I'm doing so far. And I think I'd like to get a couple of more pages done, because we're really not far in the story, but you know, you guys are supporting me on Patreon, and like, you guys deserve to see what, you know, what your support has generated, obviously. But I just want to like make sure I have this scene done, I guess, or I'm at like a good cutoff point. But I just realized I haven't shown all the pages that are done so far that are lettered and shaded and everything. So I think I'm gonna do that soon and have it on Patreon as sort of a treat for everyone who is supporting me out there. So I look forward to that. Hello, Mocap, you're back! I saw you last time. How are you doing? It's like 9 a.m. over here. I know I said I was gonna try to stream earlier. That didn't happen. Though I guess this is a better time, right? Because I think most people I know are in the States, and most of my friends that I know would hop on streams and stuff are over in the US, and this is around the time everyone has gotten off work and gotten home, basically. So maybe this is a decent time, I'm hoping. I'm gonna be so good at drawing pine trees by the end of this book. So the entire first arc is mostly just characters like trekking through these mountains. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of these mountains and pine trees and snow, because it's in a snowy continent and it takes place in the winter. So it's just gonna be snow and pine trees, and they're gonna be just fighting all kinds of monsters in the snow, which will look really cool. I'm really looking forward to drawing all the fights, and it's gonna be like, oh, there's gonna be so many particulars everywhere. Like by particulars, I mean like, you know, smoke and like sprays, and like the demons have like weird acid powers, so they're gonna be smoking everywhere and like snow flying and stuff. But anyways, it'll look really cool. I'm really looking forward to drawing it. But lots of pine trees. But also, I'll be having a lot of character backstory arcs and flashbacks and stuff, so we'll get to see a few other locations in the world. It'll mostly be pine trees, though. Hi! Hello, Loudly Silent. How are you? Nice work. Loudly Silent says, nice work on the roof accents because they look almost Nordic or Norse. Like Frozen, but with monsters. Awesome, I'm so glad, yes. Yeah, I'm going for kind of a Nordic look. Just, you know, pagan, Northern European base for the culture for this continent, this area of the world I've made. I'm also looking at some ancient Slavic architecture and taking some inspiration for that for the clothing, but there's a lot less reference for that for some reason. So most of the reference I found is for like Nordic architecture and clothing and tools and all that stuff. Let me lighten this a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I've like constructed, I don't know, I spent so much time building this world. I'm mildly crazy. I have 3 main continents that come into play over the course of the entire story. So I have Orion, which is the continent where most of the story takes place in. That's like the cold kind of northern continent with, you know, the predominant culture is kind of like this Nordic, Slavic, this culture of, you know, where most of my main characters are from. But then I have like to the south is a continent called Druba. It's kind of it's like a merger between Indian and Persian culture, and then to the east, like sort of just connected by a little land bridge, is like a continent that's dominated by a culture that's inspired by Tang Dynasty China, and I'm really looking forward to drawing that because I really love drawing ancient Chinese stuff. And okay, I'm getting carried away, but I'm like super excited about all this. Horrible Streams asks, it sounds like you have a huge story planned. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because I have no self-control. Will it all be in snow and mountains? So not all of it. Right, I'm not sure if you popped in after I was talking about the story arcs, but no, the first arc will mostly be snow and mountains and stuff, but there will be a lot of flashbacks and side stories as I explain where the characters are from and each character's individual backstories and stuff. And the second arc and third arc will be almost exclusively in cities, because it gets into like the battle over a major city, and then it gets into just literally intercontinental warfare is the scale of the third arc. So it won't be all sort of, it sort of escalates. Like I want a really nice sense of escalation. For example, the story, it starts out as a small group of characters. The scale is not that big. It's sort of, there's a town, there's a demon infestation, it's kind of local, and it sort of spreads from there, right? As these characters travel, they realize the problem they're investigating is tied to a much larger conspiracy. A lot more people are also affected by this problem, and sort of they have the key and they have the ability to tackle this problem. They're unique in some ways, and they have the knowledge and the power to sort of take on this villain, so they proceed with that. So there's like a nice sense of escalation. That's what I'm going for. Hope that answered your question. There will be a lot of snow and mountains, though. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of that. Does that look right? The nice thing about drawing pine trees is they're I can just blank out my mind and draw them at this point. They're very much just shut your mind off and detail. Ooh, let's save. I'll start with this one over here. Am I going into too much detail? I probably am. I'm definitely going into too much detail. Okay, I'm gonna pull back a bit. God. Oh yeah, so, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, so, by the way, everyone, I saw Battle Angel Alita a few days ago. And it was pretty good. So I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was good. It was good. For some reason, it came out earlier in Taiwan than in the States. Oh, that's right. Wait, it comes out like tomorrow in the States, right? So they're releasing it for Valentine's Day, basically. And we got a release for Chinese New Year's, which is like the 2nd of February. So that's why we got an earlier release over in Asia. But yeah, I went to see it in theaters. It was good. It was very good. Not mind-blowing, but I would recommend you go see it. I was kind of iffy about the ending. Like, I I have some nitpicks about the ending. But overall, see the problem that we keep on having with Hollywood adapting, stories from anime and manga are basically changes to the core of the story, right? And half the time, there's a lot of problems with adapting cultures. Like, for example, stories like Death Note or Ghost in the Shell are stories written for one culture, but when you adapt them into a movie for American audiences, the changes they negate what the story is about. But kind of beyond that though, like, there are a lot of changes that just don't really make any sense. But I didn't feel that with Alita. The heart of the story is still there, and it's not exactly like the manga, but I really like most of the changes that they made, which is really shocking, because most of the time, anytime that an adaptation or a new version or a sequel changes something in most of the stories I flip out. Like, I didn't even like Ghost in the Shell Arise, because they changed Motoko Kusunagi's backstory. I was so mad at Arise. I was like, this is not canon. I'm a second gig and standalone complex fan. Arise is not. No, I will not stand for this. But back to Alita. I thought the changes made to Alita were good, and the actress that played Alita was fantastic. She was really, really good. I thought Alita was, she's obviously kicked butt, and she was super duper cute. So, acting wise, the only things that I thought were kind of off were like some of the side characters, but well, that's why they're not the main character, right? Yeah, go see it, guys. Go support this movie. It's awesome. Awesome. Ooh, there's more people joining. Welcome. Hello, everybody. It's like dinner time over there. I really want to talk about Alita, but I'm gonna spoil stuff for everyone, so I will hold back. I'll restrain myself. Ah! It's so hard. What do I do? I'm a bit sniffly, by the way. So, apologies. I'll try to not be gross. I don't know what it is. I'm always just a little sniffly whenever the weather is cold. And we've been having huge swings in the weather over here, as always happens for winter in northern Taiwan. Gosh, I hate it. Like yesterday I was going around in short sleeves, and today it's like rainy and damp cold. That's the worst kind of cold. It's just like damp and wet, and the air is just like cold and it clings to you. It's terrible. I don't even want to go out, but I'm gonna have to go out because I have to go mail commissions and an invoice. So, boo! I don't want to have to go out. Oh, it's 5:30 on the West Coast. Oh, that's right. I always forget. I don't really keep track of West Coast time, but right, it's like a 3-hour time difference. Yeah, I have my computer clock set to East Coast time still. It's because most of the time when I'm turning in work, it's to East Coast time. So I want to be able to like turn in work on time. Because most of the time, I'm corresponding with like editors at Marvel and stuff, and that's all on the East Coast. Oh, by the way, the last comic thing that I finished, the short comic that I did last week was Marvel Superheroes Adventures, and I'm not sure when it's coming out yet. I should know this, but I forgot. But you guys should check it out. It should be coming out soon, in like next month or the month after. I did the short that was Spider-Man, so it's a short story Just a 9-pager of little Spidey adventure, so you guys should check that out. Yeah, it's fun. Not doing too much other than that, just commissions. Man, I do have a lot of commissions that I have to catch up on. Sorry, by the way, if anyone has been waiting on stuff. I am trying to, well, I think I got a bunch of commissions done and out of the way, so I'm not too backed up, but I'm just trying to stay on task with drawing Demoniac, and because, you know, that's what my entire Patreon is geared towards right now. Like, everything that I post on Patreon, or the goal of my Patreon is to support getting this comic done. So I have an obligation to my patrons, and also I promised myself I want to do this comic, right? This is my dream. This is what I want to do, a creator-owned story. And I also have an obligation to the people that are supporting me on Patreon to update everyone on this comic and, you know, have some steady progress. Basically, I feel like everybody that's a patron is like, they're my board members at this point. Which is cool. It's cool. It's good. It's good to have people overseeing your work. It's a nice motivator. But yeah, I'm just trying to balance that out with commission work, and also I took on a translation job, as I mentioned in my last stream on Facebook. But I was all the way down south in Taiwan doing a translation job for a couple of weeks. So that was fun. Bit different, isn't it? Not art at all. They tried to make me draw stuff for free, though. Of course they did. I stood my ground and told them. I mean, I was nice about it, but yeah. I'm sorry, I can't do, you know, design work for free just because I'm there for a translation job. It happens. It's terrible. Guys, don't do art for free. It's not good. You should be paid for your work. God, so sniffly. Oh, I hope the little background music thing I set up is working, by the way. So I set up like this music loop to play in the background. I'm using OBS to stream, and like for the first 5 times I set it up, it wasn't streaming properly. Hopefully everyone can hear it now. I try. Technology hates me. What can you do? Yes! Oh, is that Tim Donnelly? Hello! Hey, Tim Donnelly. Yes, don't do art for free. Yes. I mean, even as a student, you should be charging, like, you know, charge a small base fee. But, like, it devalues just the value of, you know, design work and people that do art professionally across the board. If, I don't know, because that's what's so hard about doing something that you also are passionate about. Like, yeah, I would be doing art even if I wasn't paid for it, but that doesn't mean that, you know, when I'm drawing what someone else wants me to draw, I will do it for free. That's different. And it is a skill, and like, man, rent isn't free, food isn't free. And I went to school for this. I paid for an education on this. So, yeah, don't do art for free, kids. Not free. I say as I sniffle. Charge for your work. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Tim said, I do my own personal out of passion, everything else costs. Yup. I mean, we are really lucky to be doing something that we enjoy, but that doesn't mean it's, you know, not work. Like, it's still work. Just because you enjoy it doesn't mean it's not work. Even like this, even Demonia, which is, you know, my own story, at the end of the day, it is work. And it is something that I would like to eventually be able to just support myself and, you know, and my folks on this project. So it's not like money doesn't fall out of the sky, everybody. It is a business. But yeah, when you are doing your own ideas and you create your own projects, effectively what you're doing is you're creating a small business. So yeah, it's still work no matter what. It's not just a hobby. If you're doing this full time and you went to school for it, even if you didn't go to school for it, if this is your, like, you do it full time and people pay you to do it, or people would pay you to do it. You know what I mean? It is a job. I have the hardest time explaining this to especially my Taiwanese relatives. And like, by the way, I'm not mad at my relatives for not understanding doing art for a living, which I'm sure this happens to, I know it happens to a lot of artists out there. Like, I've heard this just, you know, going around comic artist circles and going to art school, most people will, that do art, and especially that are in comics, have stories about their family not understanding what they do. And some people, unfortunately, their family will be against it, which I did have some people in my family against it. Not anymore. They're not against it. As soon as I started making money with it, they're not against it. But before that, they're like, you're gonna starve, you're useless. But all right, let's not get into that. But I still have some relatives that are a little more distant that I see, like, probably just, you know, Chinese New Year's, and like, we're kind of in really different worlds, and they're not international, they're not American, they're just straight up Taiwanese, and they don't understand, like, how do you do art for a living? Like, what is working in entertainment industry? People are paid to make movies, and it's just like we're in different worlds and stuff. But I'm not mad about having to explain what I do or them not understanding. It's just a little it's a little frustrating to have to explain my job every year, but like, it happens. It's what we all deal with. Django 1138. No, I will not be at C2E2. I am so sorry. No, I think I have to save my money to go to New York. Yeah. Because I am not rich. Sadness. I would go if, I mean, I'm still paying my way to convention, so, and I'm flying from Asia. It's just not possible to do that many conventions. I like to do Singapore, New York, and I'm definitely doing Tokyo Comic Con again. So yeah, I'm not C2E2, but if you're gonna be in New York, hit me up, I'll be there. Hopefully. Oh, thank you, Horrible Streams. Yeah, I'll definitely be streaming on Twitch more. I'll post my Patreon links at the bottom of the page. I mean, I'm Rini Draws everywhere. Like, I use the same username literally across the board. So on like Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, my website is just Rini Draws. RENIEDRAWS. But I will also post it at the bottom of my Twitch. I'm sorry. And I'm not doing C2E2. I can't afford it. Aww. I apologize. It's so far though. I kind of wanted to check out Chicago. But man, I just really have to save money until I get this comic off the ground. I am considering being, I am considering being, hopefully, I'm considering moving back to the States sometime, but I still don't know when yet. It's just like I moved back to Taiwan to save money, but also I'm just so far from everything. Like, it's easy to do cons like Tokyo Comic Con, and I'm also thinking of Singapore, but like most comic conventions are in the States, and you know, most comic stuff is in the States, and I feel like, I don't know, now that I'm here I kind of miss being in the US. And but I'm still not sure when or where I would move to again, because again, like my entire family is in Taiwan, so it's not like I can just go to the States and bum off somebody. But we'll see. I would like to move back to the States sometime. And if I do, I'll be able to do a lot more conventions. I'm considering doing Thought Bubble. That's in the UK. But we'll see about that. Yeah, it's just so much easier to travel to cons when you're in the States. Like, it's so far going to the US from Asia. Dude. I mean, you get used to the long haul flights, but just for one convention, poof, man. I might not even break even, to be honest, because the flights are expensive. Oh, Tim said the States would like me to move back. I would like to move back to the States. Like, it's a little difficult for me because I'm a dual citizen, and I'm kind of like, my dad's American, my mom's Taiwanese. But I was born and raised in Taiwan, but I lived in the States for a really long time. Like, I studied college there, and I worked there for a few years, and it's a pain because when I'm in the States, I miss Taiwan. When I'm in Taiwan, I miss the States, and there's just no real in between. So it's a perpetual struggle. But I think because all my work is for American companies, I moved back to Taiwan to save money for a while, and I do like it here, but I also feel like I'm just too far from everybody and all the conventions and a lot of opportunities. So yeah, maybe it would be better to head back to the States. I would like to do it after Demoniac gets pitched, though. I gotta work faster on these trees. See, when I'm talking and drawing at the same time, I tend to noodle. Alright, let's just work faster. Come on, Irene, don't noodle on everything. Ugh. Yeah, if I'm actually based in the US, then I'll be able to do lots and lots of conventions. Even if I have to pay my way. Oh, hello! Ricardo Jr. says, greetings from Mexico, greetings from Taiwan. I suppose I do have to move back to the States now. It seems like there's a consensus in the chat. I don't know where yet, but I'll figure that out. Where should I go? Back to Atlanta? I lived in Atlanta for a while. just go and get like singed and baked by the southern heat. By the way, is there another winter storm in the States right now? I heard some reports about there was like another big storm. Hope everybody's doing okay. Alright, I'm gonna give these trees a little more variation. Let's see. Alright, let's make the top kind of crooked. Like that. How about that? Cool. There we go. Make that tree a little more jagged. It's being a little too uniform with the shapes of the trees. I'll make this one a little twisted as well. Oh, there's a storm in Seattle. Oh geez, the city was shut down. And you guys are used to snow up there in Seattle, aren't you? That must be pretty bad. Ugh, sorry to hear. Yeah, hope you're doing okay. Whew. I lived in Atlanta for like 7 years or something, and that one year we had a snowpocalypse, which is basically the city shut down because of snow. But like, it's Atlanta, it's a southern city, so they can't handle snow at all. That was really bad. So man, snow shutdowns are the worst, especially if you guys have like traffic jams and the city doesn't know how to deal with it right. And if you didn't prepare for it, they're painful and they're dangerous. So I hope everybody is doing okay up there. Oh yeah. Yeah, basically half the people from SCAD that I know are, yeah, it's either New York or Atlanta. Everyone kind of, even the people that went to Savannah kind of congregated in Atlanta or went up to New York. I would like to live in New York, except it's ridiculously expensive. So, I don't know. I do have a lot of friends up there. Every time I'm in New York, I'm just tempted to just like not leave and just stay there forever. Yeah, I like New York because I'm not from there. Everybody I know who actually was born and raised there just hates it. Oh really? Seattle isn't that snowy? I know it's rainy. I'm glad that the snow is melting, so good, good, good. Congratulations. You will be free soon. New York is kind of stressful. I guess it's that appeal of just visiting a place. Like, visiting a place is really different than living there, right? So every time, like I can definitely see how living in New York would be just, especially like New York City proper, would just be a constant, you know, mild anxiety attack. It's pretty intense. But just, I don't know, just visiting there like once a year, it seems really exciting because there's so much going on and it seems like a lot of fun. But I guess like if you're surrounded by that and you have to deal with it every day, it's really different. It is sort of like, well, it's just so accessible, as in everything kind of happens there. I really like that sensation. I almost feel like it's like one of the centers of the world. You really get that feeling when you're in New York. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, annoying things to deal with, but also just the accessibility to the whole world, it feels like. Atlanta's also doing pretty nice though. Last time I was back, like I didn't go back for like maybe 3 or 4 years, and then I went back last year and it's really been done up a little. It's sort of been revamped. There's like a lot of, you know, new I don't know, new shopping areas, and like a lot of the old buildings are fixed up. It's pretty nice. But I wouldn't mind Atlanta. It'd just be pick the easy choice. I should just pick the easy choice and move back to Atlanta because like I know a ton of people there. I should just do that. Are these trees crooked enough? Everyone, you see what happens when I'm talking and drawing? I just noodle on details. Let's zoom out and see. Oh, I did get a lot of trees done today, so... That's good, that's good. Let's see what time it is. We're good. Alright. Most of these are in the background. These will be pretty fast. Excuse me. Yeah, try to not zoom in past a certain level. Because if I don't like kind of control my detail with when I'm drawing digitally, I'll just go insane. I'll be like, before I know it, I'll be drawing, you know, I'll be drawing my pages with like a 1 pixel brush or something. Oh. No self-control. But yeah, my whole thing with conventions is, so let me save this real quick. My whole thing with conventions is I really enjoy conventions, but you know, first of all, I'm not that well known yet, and beyond you know, me still having to pay my way to conventions, I'm not particularly well known, so if I go to conventions, I don't know, I feel like I've had a couple of bad experiences. I don't have a guarantee that I'll kind of make my money back. I kind of want to take it easy on conventions for a little while, even though I love them so much and they're a lot of fun, but you know, I have to keep the financial feasibility in mind. And I'm thinking right now I want to focus on getting this comic done. Because it's kind of like, do I want to travel and to go to conventions? And I'm not even taking vacations right now. I'm working all the time, so no vacations. I never travel for fun. The only reason I travel is for conventions or like for family. So no vacations, not taking any breaks right now. And I'm just saving up and focusing on getting my comic pitched. And after that, I think my schedule can open up a little more. Because then I'll have a book to promote. I think I'd do better at conventions as well. And it'll be more of a reason for me to go to conventions and, you know, for the express purpose of promoting this book. But yeah, it's kind of a hard choice to make, but I feel like it's necessary at this point. I know what it is, I just never really have particularly good luck with conventions. New York Comic Con is always really good, and I had a fantastic experience at Tokyo last year, so I'm definitely doing Tokyo again. But yeah, doing conventions as sort of a smaller creator is kind of a hit or miss, and it's really stressful. So at this point, I think I'd like to wait until I'm a little more established. So maybe just, you know, another year and a half, and I can start doing cons more regularly. Kind of have to be realistic about it. I'm still noodling. Too much detail, way too much detail. Oh no, that's the wrong layer. Smart. Behold me drawing things on the complete wrong layer. It's okay, I'll move that down. There we go. What a rookie mistake. Happens all the time though. Did they solve the problem with Artist Alley and New York Comic Con last year? Oh, I didn't do New York last year. I did New York Comic Con in 2017. It wasn't miserably hot and tight when I did New York in 2017. It was a little tight for, you know, comparatively, but it wasn't too horrible, and I had a really good time. It was a really good convention. So, I mean, I remember doing New York some years before that. I forgot what year. This must have been 2014. No, like 2015, where it was even more crammed. It was when like the Javits was under renovation, and the Artist Alley was in like a really weird walled off area, and it was like behind these big huge curtains. It was kind of strange, but I mean, I remember it being worse. So in 2017, I don't know, maybe I just got lucky with my seating or something. Yeah, the thing with New York is it's always pretty packed, but I think the Javits is just so gigantic. It's never too uncomfortable. There's so many people though, so many people. But it just the size of the convention center kind of is able to contain that, which is not the case for San Diego, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the San Diego Convention Center is as big as the Javits. And I did San Diego once. Didn't table, I just attended to walk around and meet people. And oh my word, it was horrible. I remember it took me 45 minutes to walk, just walk from one end of the hall to the next. And it was just like fighting people and, you know, sweat and grossness the whole way. Ooh, it was not fun. But yeah, New York is not like that. And I have always appreciated that. Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con is crazy. And I think New York has more people. It's just the convention center and the organization is better, I think. But San Diego Comic-Con isn't even really about comics anymore. I mean, unless they've changed, but usually they don't kind of change back from... The last time I went in like 2013 or 14, and it was, I mean, it's like HollywoodCon. So, with like a little comics section in the corner. That was my experience with San Diego Comic-Con. So, I mean, I heard the comic artists still make bank if they get in, but it's a tiny artist alley. It's hard to get in. And I don't doubt that they make bank. But still, it's mostly just Hollywood stuff. New York feels a lot more artist-friendly. At least that's the impression I got. Yeah, San Diego definitely is more about the movies. It's more about, you know, sort of the fandoms and the movies and doing a lot of... There are a lot of, like, special events and, like, things going on at the halls, all the different halls on the side of the main convention center. Like meeting actors and panels and stuff like that. It was a lot about the panels, and the main show floor, the exhibitions were all like the movie theaters. What year was it? It must have been whichever year Pacific Rim came out, because I remember seeing a Pacific Rim, like they had the clothes for the little girl and the suit, like the mecha suits, you know, the suits for the people that go in, the Jaegers on display, and that was really cool. But that was like the only thing that really impressed me. I just remember being like really, really uncomfortable. think these trees look okay. What do you guys think? I think they look okay. Emerald City Comic Con seems to be part comics, part board games, and half nerd stuff. Yeah, that's what a lot of conventions are like. Well, not all comic conventions are structured the same way, right? And it's sort of, you have to ask around if there's a certain type of comic convention that you're looking for. You kind of have to ask around, and it's not too hard to find out. Just go online and see what people say about attending each convention. But there are conventions that are, for example, more artist friendly. So for example, Heroes Con in Charlotte has always been really artist friendly, and that's the one that, you know, I did that for a lot of years, and I did that for like 7 years in a row, I think, just when I was living in Atlanta. But obviously once I moved away, not so much anymore. But that was always a really good convention, and they're really artist friendly. Like the main show floor, the main exhibition floor, in the middle they have like an art stage. So, and it's a really big artist alley. They treat the artists really well. That's a good convention for artists. And Baltimore is also pretty good. New York is pretty good to its artists for one of the bigger conventions, especially compared to San Diego, from what I've heard. But then you also have conventions that are more cosplay oriented. Dragon Con is basically a cosplay con. And yeah, I've heard Emerald City is more mixed. There's board game stuff, there's just like general nerd merch, and then there's some comics. So I heard C2E2 is also pretty mixed. It's not just mostly comic stuff. Too much detail. Does that mountain look weird? Oh, whatever. If it looks weird, it looks weird. No. I think I can finish this panel in like another 20 minutes. I'm pretty much almost done. Oh no, I still have to draw the roof details and the snow. I can do that later. I have to go to the post office, so. Let's see. There we go. What other conventions have I heard are good? See, New York, Baltimore, Heroes are all really good to artists. I did Alamo City Comic Con when I was living in Texas. It was so bad. It was the first con I lost money at. It was really terrible. And I'm sorry if someone who runs Alamo City listens to this, but man, it was just, there weren't a lot of attendees. No one was really interested in comics. I figured I'd do it just as an excuse to visit, you know, San Antonio, but it was not a good show at all. And the friends, my friends that went also didn't do well. Everyone was packing up early. But hey, you live and you learn, right? Oh yeah, MoCA, that's right. MoCA in New York. That's right, that's right. See, everything happens in New York. Yeah, I saw an exhibition of cartoonists that were, I think, what was that? It was at the Illustrators Guild or something in this exhibition hall. I went to see sort of a gallery exhibition that had a lot of works left over from MoCA. Yeah, I heard that one was good too. RKE Zerker? How long does it take you on average to make a single page? Does it vary depending on what you're drawing? Yeah, it does vary depending on what I'm drawing. If it's more detailed and it has a lot of environments and backgrounds, usually backgrounds take longer. Figures don't take that long. And I mean, I'm decently fast at backgrounds, but they just take longer across the board because you have to rule out the perspective and everything. But if it's just nature and trees and stuff, if it's organic shapes, the backgrounds are mostly organic, it doesn't take that much longer. What takes a lot of time is if you're ruling buildings and stuff like that. So say, for example, on this page, I would draw a lot of buildings and a town on the page previously. See this one? This took a while. This took me like 3 to 4 days. It took me about 4 days maybe. So something like this would take me a long time. But this page, for example, it's all figures. This took me like a day or a day and a half. This took me a day. I think this took me a day or two. So the goal that I'm working towards is, on average, I want to do a page, on average, 1 page every 2 days. So for example, a page with a lot of environments, it might take me 3 days, but a really simple page that's mostly just figures and close-ups, it would take me a day. So the average would be around 2 days a page. And that's the goal that I'm aiming for. Because when you're doing comics, you know, I mean, as much as I would like to be a perfectionist and noodle forever on everything, things have to be done. So, like, seriously, doing comics is just an exercise in learning to get things done and learn to do, be fast and make things look good, but still work fast. It's basically what you have to do. And I do want to publish with a monthly schedule for Demoniac, so I've got to figure out a speed and a style that can work with that. I do want this to be a monthly book. I'll have a big buffer, of course, which basically that's what I'm working on now. But yeah, once the book is published and being released, I want to release it monthly. So a chapter or a half chapter every month. Because I'm doing a really weird thing. Every chapter that I'm writing is it's like 45 to 50 pages. And it's sort of a length I'm doing just because I feel like that's a better length for telling the chapters that I want. I can get some more material into sort of, 40 to 50 page chapters as opposed to constraining every small arc or every chapter to like just one standard American comic issue. And I've never been particularly I never gotten quite used to it, never really been comfortable with, the standard 20 to 22 page issue. But what I'm doing is sort of settling for a middle ground, and I'm writing chapters to be about 40 to 50 pages long, but with a midpoint, so I'm breaking them in half. So I'll have like the first part and the second part of every chapter. So I can still release chapters as maybe like 22 or 23 pages, but it'll just be 2 issues would be 1 chapter. So nobody is interested in hearing about this stuff, but I like talking about it because it's my comic. Tim Donnelly was repeating what I said. Comics is an exercise in compromise. Ah, my word. Okay. People are just gonna remember that line forever now. It kind of is, though. You have to learn to let go and not make everything perfect. And you do learn to work fast and sort of just get things done. Because the thing is, what's important is the story. The story gets told, right? It's not just about making the illustrations perfect. What matters is the story. Also, comics have like ridiculous schedules, at least, American comics do. So you just can't noodle forever on everything. I say as I noodle forever on everything. Yeah, comics is much more than just drawing pretty pictures or making the aesthetics look good. It's storytelling. It's visual storytelling. Oh yeah, Society of Illustrators. Yeah, they have the Society of Illustrators. They have like a little gallery in New York. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I think they have like a permanent exhibition. Then they have rotating exhibitions on the upper floors. It was like a really cute little building. When I went, they had I think fashion and illustration show in the basement, which is really interesting because they were showing like, you know, the Gibson girl. They had like the original Gibson girl illustration, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Gibson girl. So sorry, illustration stuff, but that was really awesome. It was mostly illustrations from the early 20th century and clothes from the early 20th century that matched, you know, the fashions that were in the illustrations, and I thought that was kind of cool, even though I'm not particularly into that kind of stuff. But it was cool seeing like all those early illustrators that really defined what American illustration was. That's cool. Okay. Ooh. I think this is a good stopping point. Yeah, sorry guys if I'm a little sniffly today and a little out of it. Cause again, weather and all that stuff. And also, I've just been having a rough morning because, by the way, I didn't mention my dehumidifier broke right before I was gonna sit down and eat breakfast and I was gonna start the stream, and then I was walking through my apartment and I realized there's a puddle on the ground next to my dehumidifier, and the dehumidifier is broken and it was leaking water all over my entire apartment floor. So now I don't have a dehumidifier and I have a pile of rags in the middle of my apartment floor. I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to probably buy a new one. Oh, life is difficult. Okay. Anyways, nobody wants to hear about that. So, let's see. All right, that will be all for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will try to do another Twitch stream probably next week. I'm not so sure about this weekend, but I'll probably do a stream on Facebook this weekend, and I'll do another Twitch stream either next Tuesday or Wednesday. But I will start doing notifications on Twitter and also on Facebook to let everybody know right before I'm going live, because some people have given me feedback. I said it's kind of hard to catch when I'm going live, and then I realized, of course, I need to, let people know ahead of time, probably, give them a couple hours notice. So, but anyways, if you want to figure out when I'll be doing more art streams, you can just follow me again at Rini Draws. It's Rini Draws on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, DeviantArt, even though I never check DeviantArt anymore. Follow me on by that handle, and and also Instagram as well. So follow me mostly on Twitter, and I will let everyone know next time I'm doing another art stream. And hope to see you guys next time. Bye!